Hello there. This is my impression of, from Kenobi. There's always got to be that one scumbag who just. Need a Pez. That'll do. Alright. No. Okay. So, welcome back to Maul Paints. And this is my second of 4 seasonal requests from Lacrimosa to make a kind of a deep woodsy scene. This one's going to be more of a spring color. Last one I did was winter. So we're just going to dive right in. I've already got a mixture of sap green and phthalo blue on top of this canvas here. So I'm just going to dive right in. We're going to change the light source up. For the most part, it's going to be the same trees, grass, planet, and whatever. So here we go. Take that same fan brush like we were even painting before. A fan brush, and maybe this one, the light source will be, it'll be over here. So we'll just kind of really lighten that up. And doing that, see how different that is? That titanium white is just going to make that sap green and phthalo blue just pop. So just going to kind of figure out where your light source is, make that kind of the brightest, and then we'll just kind of fade off. And maybe still going to have light source, but won't be nearly as much. Right back into that titanium white. Really whiten up that. Maybe maybe it'll be a bigger and a more open area. Maybe something like that. I got all this canvas over here. I don't want to make just one side looking all crazy. This one kind of comes like that. A little bit there. Really bring this one. Maybe it's kind of faded out a little bit. Maybe I'll make this opening a little bit bigger because I don't want to waste all this canvas here. Maybe this will be my light source, will be pretty good size in this one. There we go. That looks pretty good. Bring this down just a little bit. I don't know. Take a look back. No, it's pretty good. All right, let's continue. Just kind of maybe there's little parts of this light source that kind of come through here. So okay, now it's going to take this 2-inch brush. Make sure it's dry. Beat the Sith out of it first, just to make sure. And then we're just going to lightly lift up. Just kind of blending it, nothing too much, just to kind of get rid of those brush strokes. Maybe lightly back and forth, real light. Look at that. Let me take it just a look back here. Maybe I'll add just a little bit more white. You're not going to be able to see the trees too well if I leave that over here. I'm going to add just a little bit more white. I still want this area to be the lightest because that's where I want that's where my light source is coming from. Now we'll lift. Here we go. All right. Thinking that's pretty good. Let me clean off the brush. This is my favorite part. Use an odorless thinner. Hang on, I'm going. And then you're just gonna beat the Sith out of it, just like you're beating Kenobi's face. Just oh, I hate that guy so much. All right, so let's get back to this. All right. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna use. I don't know if I want to make the trees first. I mean, maybe I'll make land. We're gonna make kind of a nice green grass here. We'll kind of make it going, and we're gonna start with. I'm gonna start with just. I got a whole bunch of colors on here, so I think I'm just gonna start with just the sap green. Really load that full of paint, and then. You know, that might not even show up, but you know what, for now, it's not even that big of a deal. And we're just gonna kind of tap. Just tapping is actually what's actually making that grass there. And what we'll do, when we get this on here, is we get our, kind of our grass established. What I'm gonna do is kind of just lightly maybe make just a couple areas that look like they might go back out there. I mean, these, you know what, you're not even gonna be able to see it, to be honest, but maybe this one kind of comes back a little bit. And it's gonna get darker, so at least we've got the grass established and stuff, so you know, let's see what happens. Anyways, so maybe I'll add just a touch of white to that. A little too green, or a little too. It's a little too light. What I meant to say. So maybe we'll just kind of make it look like there's some layers here. So a lot is going to get covered up for the most part by the real dark trees, because like I said, we're way in the woods. Not going to be able to see a whole heck of a lot. Just kind of finish this one up here. Little patches of grass all over the place. Okay, now we kind of got our base established for the most part. Since this is a little bit lighter here, I thought what I'd do is maybe we'll just add just a little bit of the cad yellow and real mix that. I don't know if you can tell on the camera there, but it's just going to make a real nice light green. Just kind of tap it, and now sort of light source I said is coming from, so we'll just kind of put maybe a little bit of grass coming down here like that. It's getting hit by the light. Maybe it comes down like that. Maybe just this area is a little bit lighter than the rest. And we'll just kind of tap that out. Yeah, something like that. I don't know, it looks kind of nice. Maybe, you know, we'll leave it like that. Or not. Okay. Now I'm thinking, since that's going to be pretty dark over here, I'd like to add, yeah, you know, even though there might be one major light source, maybe there's just not as many trees here, so maybe there'll still be some. I don't want to leave this part of the painting out. Maybe it's just darker, it's not as noticeable, so we'll just kind of just put not as much grass, but yeah, something like that. Okay. Now that we got our sky, we got kind of the distant tree, now we'll put some actual trees in here. It's gonna be like really cool. So, first thing I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to beat the Sith out of it because, you know, it's the coolest part to do here. So, not as fun to do with the 1-inch brush because it doesn't make as much noise. Okay. So, we can actually go right in. See, this already kind of looks like some trees, so actually kind of half the work is already done for me. So, I'm just going to go in. Maybe we'll add just a touch of brown, but a whole bunch of black. Whole lot of that lamp black, and just a touch of that brown. Who knows? You're not even going to be able to tell the difference, to be honest. So, okay. So, maybe we have a tree. Maybe it's right here. Maybe it just lives right there. Something like that. Just reload that brush. Lots of black. Maybe we got one. Let's kind of use these dark areas. Can kind of be to your benefit. That one will come way down all the way. I mean, I'm gonna work from maybe, you know, I kind of want to darken that up a little bit. I didn't like how light that was. All right, and maybe this one comes down. Maybe it's kind of at an angle. Who knows? You know, I think maybe trees all grow the same. You know, maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe that one kind of has an angle like that. Maybe. Kind of comes down here. You got one that kind of comes down, kind of bends. Man, it's got had a real rough life. Kind of had a weird bend to it. Like I said, a lot of these, I mean, it already looks like distant trees in the background, so I don't have a whole bunch of trees I really want to do to mess this painting up because, well, you know, I already said it. Anyway, so we'll kind of bring this one down. You know, it's whatever. Then I still want to add a couple evergreens. I love making evergreen trees, even though they're not going to be green in this picture. Maybe this one's going to come down here too. Way off, just right off, all the way, just all the way off. You know. Maybe you know what? Maybe it's got one. It's kind of coming back like this. Check this out. Maybe this one kind of comes down and like goes behind it and then like falls off too. All right, so now I think what I'm going to do here is just give this one quick tap here, because you know it's funny. Check this out. Like if you make this one come down here in front, it'll make it look like it's in front of the one behind it. Stop. Okay, I'm done. Anyway, let me just let me add some evergreens in the distance here, and we'll lighten this up, and that'll pretty much be a done painting. Like I said, all these paintings are pretty much going to be pretty close, all four of them, but they're going to have like different colors, like 4 seasons. So maybe there's a evergreen, maybe right back here. We'll just kind of tap that back and forth like that. Yeah. All right. Maybe there's one, maybe a bigger one, right there. Yeah. I said these evergreens aren't really going to have much detail on them because they're so far back there. You're not going to be able to see much of anything. But I think you're really going to like when I start putting the shadows and the lighting on these bigger trees here. I think you'll like it. Maybe there's one way back here. Okay. And maybe we'll just make a couple little bushes. There's little stuff here and there. Just kind of make it look like we're way back in the distance. Something like that, I don't know. You know, I actually don't prepare any dialogue for this, so I actually just kind of talk on the fly, clearly. All right, so what I want to do here is I kind of want to make the light source, I want to make it coming from right here in the middle. As I explained in that last video, I think these two are going to have the light source on the left, and these ones are going to have it all on the right. So what I want to do is I want to mix. There she is. So what I'm going to do is I want to mix maybe like a, you know, we'll take some alizarin crimson, kind of give it that kind of that nice reddish tint, maybe a little bit of the phthalo blue, much more crimson than blue. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a darker color, which is going to have your obviously the shadow, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go right into this white, and I'm going to have the same exact color, but a lighter, clearly it's not the same color because it's a lighter version of it, but you get what I'm saying. So, light side, dark side. That's funny to me. Alright. But there's like, okay, we'll just start with the light side, even though it's dumb. Alright, so all we're doing is just going to kind of light up the side of the tree like that. It just kind of gives it just the indication that maybe the light's coming from here or something like that. I don't know, but it's going to kind of hit the trees on the right side, and maybe, you know, this will be a little darker, so we'll make it just a little bit less. So I made a bunch of trees here, so we got a bunch of lighting and darkening to do. Now on this side, just kind of go on the left side there, just like that. Something simple, doesn't have to be crazy. So I think I made this one come all the way off the canvas, which is fine nowadays. Something like that. Maybe this one's got something like that. And it's crazy using those brush strokes like I was doing. I can't even tell sometimes what I actually made here for trees and what it was actually just naturally made with the fan brush on the background. I think I made one here, something like that. Maybe this one comes up a little higher. I don't want to jip this tree. Maybe this one comes up, goes just like that, right there. These, I think we're good. I think I'm going to do what? I don't even remember how I made, yeah, you know what, I made it evergreen there. Okay. So I think I got one tree here, kind of comes up like that. And then these two were that cross section, so I wanted this tree to be in front. So this one will kind of have, make this one kind of like that. But then this one is going to kind of on the front here. And it's going to make the illusion that this tree kind of leaning over is behind this one. Okay, so pretty nice little setup. So now what I want to do is take this same dark side color, which is way better anyway. It's going to kind of come right over the front like that. Over the front. It's going to come on the side like that here. And it's going to be just, it's going to pretty much just fill the opposite side of the tree, just to give that tree some extra detail. Just like that. Pretty simple. Okay. So what I want to do is just kind of move this just like that. Something pretty simple, just like that. Now I got a couple more trees here to do, and I really like this color here. I think it's just awesome. Kind of that alizarin crimson phthalo blue look to it. And like I said, much more alizarin crimson than the phthalo blue, because red is a lot cooler of a color than blue, I think. That's funny. Alright, this one kind of come up like that. And then these two here, got to make the indication, like I said, that this one is behind this one. Something simple, just like that. Okay. So maybe what I'm going to do now, I mean, this is pretty good to go. You know, I actually did this a lot quicker than I thought because these that fan brush strokes actually made it look like there's a lot more trees in the background there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of clean up these tree trunks and we'll pretty much have ourselves a good painting. So I'm going to take a small fan brush here and I'm going to go right back. I'm going to kind of go right back into that lighter grass color that I had. And mix up that yellow and that green. And we're just going to kind of put the indication of just a little bit more grass right on top of these. Something like that. Maybe even there's a, you know, there's a little bush right there. And then there's one right here. So this is more so just kind of covering up your tree trunks. This was some little grassy patches. That one's already off the canvas. And then we're just going to kind of add just a little bit grass, just lightly lift up in some of these dark areas. Kind of just gives it look like there's just a touch of depth in there. And actually, if you got a darker color, maybe you kind of make little shadows on some of these trees here. Something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking this is pretty good. You know, I think I'm just going to add one more bush right down here, and I think we're pretty much should be done. I think right here, we're just going to put happy little bush right down here into the tree there. And if you tell anyone that that bush is there, I will come to your house and I will cut your legs off. So as I was saying before, I am Maul, and let the hate flow through you. Hopefully you tune in next time for part 3, and I'll see you later.